again. Hello again. So I wanted to continue my Star Wars movie review. I know it's been a while since I did the first prequel films, but I wanted to make sure I continued. It's just taken us a bit of time to get around to watching the two films I'm going to talk about today, and those are Solo, a Star Wars story, and Rogue One, a Star Wars story. These are very much considered the sort of in-between films that don't fit in with the main Skywalker story, and they're just stories about other characters and other events, but they still fit in with events that we know about. So, for example, Solo is obviously about a character, Han Solo, and Rogue One talks about how they get the plans for the Death Star to know its weakness. So I saw Rogue One at the cinema back when it came out, and I missed Solo at the cinema, which kind of annoyed me because I've seen, apart from maybe the first Star Wars story, I've seen them all at the cinema, some on re-release, and it kind of annoyed me that Solo kind of slipped me by. However, I did watch it last year for the first time, and funnily enough, when I first saw Solo, I was not fussed on it at all. I was thinking I didn't really care, and when I watched Rogue One, I thought it was okay. Upon rewatching them, I actually like Solo more now than I did when I originally watched it, but my opinion of Rogue One has more or less stayed the same. But I now actually prefer Solo over Rogue One, and yet I was willing to skip Solo on this rewatch of Star Wars films. But we didn't. We watched it. And now I'm going to tell you my opinions of those. So, first off, I liked Solo. Like I said, I thought it was actually not too bad. It was a little bit, as I think my brother, pointed out. So I liked Solo. It was a little bit, as my brother pointed out, checklist of we've got to tick off the moments in Han Solo's life. It feels a little bit like that in parts, but otherwise, not so much. I don't know. I think it still tells a fairly good story all the way through. So first of all, I'm just going to say what I didn't like about it. And the biggest problem I have with it is the main actor who plays Han Solo. This is something that people have pointed out. I think he even had to go back to acting classes or something like that. I don't think he was that bad an actor. He just wasn't Han Solo. Watching it, I just did not get a sense that this was a young Han Solo. There were moments when some of the ways he stands and holds his gun, his posture and stuff did seem quite Han Solo-like. You know, take away his head and you could almost believe it. But his mannerisms, the way he talked, the way he acted, there was nothing about him that made me think, oh yes, that's Han Solo. A couple of interactions with Chewie maybe, but no, otherwise not at all. Which is a shame because, like I said, I think he was trying. And like I said, his parts with Chewie, the interactions with Chewie were quite interesting, and you could believe the two of them were building up a relationship, which was good. But he's not Han Solo, and I couldn't buy him as Han Solo, and that is one of the big issues with the film. I think also it has a bit of pacing. I think it's a bit longer than it needs to be. I think they could have probably cut out a few bits of it, shortened it up, and it would have been punchier. What else didn't I really like about it? I had this all in my head. That droid. I can't remember her name, but the female droid that is Lando's droid, she annoyed me. I got the idea she was supposed to be a bit of comic relief, but for the most part, she annoyed me. The only part I liked was when she does actually free a load of droids in this mining colony thing, and they all go on a freedom rampage and stuff like that. That was quite funny, but her, no, she was supposed to be I don't know, I think it was supposed to be a bit of a feminist thing, like that's what she was representing, sort of not being downtrodden by anyone, and it was like, I don't care for her. She annoyed me. The only other thing I think kind of annoyed me was that they introduced these characters at the beginning of it who end up getting killed very early on, and it's a shame that they set up these characters, and they seem good characters, they seem fun and interesting, and they're starting to build up a relationship with Han Solo, and then they get killed on the first job, and it's like, oh, okay, so now we've just got Han Solo and Woody Harrelson. Fine. That was a bit of a problem. That was a downer. But otherwise, I did actually over enjoy it, and that does also link into the things I did like about it. Like I said, the story was fine. It was enjoyable. It could be exciting at times. The climax was quite exciting. It wasn't any big sort of battles or anything like that, which was nice. It was it all took place in one location in an office sort of thing, but it was very clever. It was sort of like misdirections and all this stuff, and I kind of liked all that. Like I said, Woody Harrelson's character is interesting. His relationship with Han Solo is also quite interesting, the way that develops. And, well, let's talk about the best part of it all. The best characterization was Donald Glover playing Lando Calrissian. Calrissian? Something like that. He was amazing. Like, he was the best. His mannerisms, the way he spoke, his accent, it all sounded so much like a young Lando. And I could totally buy him as a young Lando. And that's really funny when you consider you've got a really bad impersonation of Han Solo, and then you've got a really good impersonation of Lando. It's just a shame he's not in it that much, or at least not as in it as, like, he comes into the movie, I think, halfway through. He's not even in the movie as much as I would personally like, because I thought he was genuinely really good. But like I said, overall, I was entertained by it. I would probably watch it again, not anytime soon, but I could see myself watching it again. I got enough out of it to say that I would be happy to rewatch it at some point. So that's more than I thought, considering I really didn't, originally I was going to skip this one. So that's something. So going on to Rogue One, the biggest problem I have with this film, and the thing that I just cannot get past in some ways, I fail to get invested in this film. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that I find it a pointless story. I don't see the need to tell this story, because it is basically just saying how they got the Death Star plans and how they found out that there was a flaw in it that they could then use to blow it up. Why do we need to know that? I really felt like there was no reason to tell that story. I mean, my boyfriend, who is a huge Star Wars fan, loves this film. Like, it's one of his favourites of the Star Wars. And he said, well, first he told me you have to watch it like it's a war film. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't even like normal war films. So why would that suddenly appeal to me? But also that this was a story that George Lucas always wanted to tell, but he couldn't originally tell it with the technology back then. So it feels like, okay, fine, but why tell it now? We don't need to see it. We don't need to know that story now that we've got all the other films. We just know that they got the Death Star plans. Well, good. We don't need a backstory for how he found it out. And I feel like I said, that really I struggle to get invested in the film because I find it so pointless. And because there's nothing in it for me that I'm thinking, well, you know they're all going to die. Sorry, spoilers, but I will put a spoiler sign at some point saying I am going to talk about the end. But yeah, they all die in it. And a lot of the characters I find dull. Cassian, I found so dull. I found him uninteresting. I couldn't really care. Jin, I suppose, was a little more, because, like I said, they're building up the relationship with her father and all this. And that's fine. That's not too bad. But I still find her dull as well. I'm not interested. And when that's your two main characters and you don't care about their story or what they're doing, it's just... I just feel like they're flying from location to location, trying to find these plans. You know they're going to find that's another thing. All of this tension, and you know they're going to find the plans, because we see it at the beginning of A New Hope. So there's just no suspense in it either, really. It's just, you know, we have to go and get the plans, obstacle, obstacle, obstacle. You know they're going to overcome it. And yeah, for that, I just find it such a pointless film. However, there is something I do enjoy. I've got to talk about at least something I do like about film. The climax with the fighting in the air over the planet, that's a good battle. It's good, got good effects. It's got some excitement. It's got ships bashing into each other, which is really cool. It also leads to Darth Vader's fight scene in the corridor, which is really cool. It's such a short scene, unfortunately. I wish it was longer. But that was really awesome. Actually getting to see Darth Vader really kick ass was really cool. I liked that. And actually, I do like some of the side characters. So the main characters I find dull. But the side characters, you've got Inui, I think his name is, the blind monk, along with his companion Blaze. I wanted to know more about them. I wanted there to be I wanted to see that. I'd rather a whole film talking about their relationship and what their deal is, rather than just seeing them be sort of side characters just helping out. They were awesome. I liked them. And I swear there was another character I liked. Oh, K2SO. As droids go, I like that he just sort of says whatever he's thinking, and he doesn't really care. He has no sort of care whether he's annoying anybody, and he genuinely brings some humour to it. And of course, he's voiced by Alan Tudyk, so that instantly makes him awesome. So I liked him, and I liked, like I said, Blaze and Inui. I think his name's Inui. I hope it is. And yeah, that was cool, but that wasn't really enough for me to enjoy it. And to be honest, I probably would never watch it again. I'm really not that fussed. Like I said, I've given it 2 goes. I give it 2 watches, and it hasn't changed my mind on it. So I just don't see the need to rewatch it again. Although now that I have seen that, it will be quite interesting to see A New Hope now, because it does lead straight in. A New Hope starts pretty much right from the end of Rogue One. I also, before I do forget, because I meant to mention it, some of the CGI, they've got Grand Moff Tarkin, whatever his name, the general, Peter Cushing from the original. They've done CGI with him, and the technology looks incredible. Like, if you didn't tell me that was CGI, that was just someone's face made up to look like him, I wouldn't have instantly guessed. However, once you know, it's a little bit distracting. You're sort of watching it going, yeah, you're analysing it while you're watching it, as opposed to paying attention to the character. So yeah, like I said, the technology was amazing, but it is distracting when you know. So that was also a bit of a like a plus and a minus about it. So yeah, overall, enjoyed Solo quite a lot, and Rogue One, meh, still think that way. Of course, next time I'll be voicing my thoughts on the original Star Wars films, and that is going to be really hard to do, because I like them. They are my favourite films of the whole lot, I'll admit. At least they are, from what I can remember. I haven't watched them in a while. But the problem is, I feel like everything has been said about them, and I'm probably not going to bring any new or views on them. But I will just give my opinion and say what I like and say what I don't like, because that's what I'm doing. That's the whole point of my reviewing them. So hopefully that won't be too long. But until then, I hope you enjoyed my rambling thoughts on the 2 in-between Star Wars films. So see you then.